Alright guys, let's go ahead and look at the stuff that you worked on yesterday, the incomplete dominance and the codominance. So real quick before we dive into these examples, let's just go back up and take a look at what we looked at yesterday. So we've got these two things here that are not just as simple as dominant versus recessive, where we have one thing that dominates over the other. Here we have things called incomplete dominance and we have codominance. Now, with incomplete dominance, what we have is where neither allele is dominant over the other one, right? That's what we looked at, over here, when neither is dominant over the other one. So you end up getting this blend. It's when you take a red one and a white one, and what do you end up with? You end up with pink. Okay, now that's very similar but slightly different than what we call codominance. Now with codominance you have when both are expressed fully. So that would be like when you have a white cow and you have a red cow and you end up with this white cow with red polka dots, or what we would call a roan cattle. Okay, so it's where you see both things. Okay, now let's go down here and let's take a look at part number 4, because part number 4 talks about incomplete dominance. So what it says is that SpongeBob loves growing flowers for his pal Sandy. Her favorite flowers are puffkins, and they are found in red, blue, and purple. Using the information provided in your knowledge of incomplete dominance to complete each section, write the correct genotype if R represents the red gene and B represents the blue gene. Okay, so if we remember from what we saw up there, we're going to use all capital letters. Okay, so a red flower up here was represented by RR. A white flower was represented by WW. So if we go down here, R, or red, is going to be represented by RR, just like it told us in the directions where it says R represents red, and B is going to represent blue. Okay, so if RR represents red, then BB represents blue. What is purple going to be? So if we go back up and we see from the example that pink was not PP, it is RW. It is a combination. It was a combination of red and white. It's both of them. So purple down here has to be a combination of red and blue. Okay, in this case, it's not going to be a lot of people. A ton of you, I guarantee, will make this mistake, and you will highlight that one, and you will say that this one should be PP for purple. It's not. Okay, it is a combination of the two. It is one red one and one blue one that get mixed in there to give us purple. It is not PP. Okay. All right, so let's move on. What would happen if SpongeBob crossed a puffkin with red flowers with a puffkin with blue flowers? Complete the Punnett square to determine the chances of each flower color. Okay, so if we look at this Punnett square, and we have a red one, which we know red is represented by RR, and we have a blue one, which is represented by the genotype BB, and then we just go ahead and we fill out the Punnett square for the rest of the way. We end up with RB, 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 and RB. Okay, so what are the possible genotypes for the offspring? Well, the only possibilities that we have, look, they're all the same. That's it. So there's nothing else that's an option. The only possible genotype is RB, and that genotype can only be the phenotype. Remember, phenotype is the physical characteristic, so what color is it going to be? The only option is to have purple. Okay, so when it asks how many will have red, well, that's 0. None of these ones over here are RR. If you remember, red is represented by RR. None of these are RR. How many of them will be purple? Well, let's say we got 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4. So that's a 100%. So that therefore means, well, blue has to be BB. If there was none over there that are BB, it's 0%. Okay? So that's incomplete dominance. Codominance is very similar. It's very, very similar. In this case, we got SpongeBob and his pal Patrick love to go jellyfishing at the jellyfish fields. The fields are home to a special type of blue and yellow spotted jellyfish known as goobers, and only really great jellyfishermen are lucky enough to catch them on every trip. So codominance here. Same idea as incomplete. It's just in this case, you're going to see something like spots, like we see up here with the cows. All right, so what we have is many of the jellyfish are yellow, and they are going to be YY, or blue, and these guys are going to be BB, but some end up with yellow or blue spotted as a result of codominance. Okay, so what would happen if you crossed two goobers or spotted jellyfish? Complete the Punnett square. So it doesn't lead you to this one, but we kind of have to use a little bit of thinking. If yellow is YY and blue is BB, that means a goober is going to have to be YB. It's one of each. So in this problem, if we're crossing two goobers, that means we've got YB. Let's zoom in a little bit. We've got YB, and we've got YB. Let's go ahead and fill out the rest of the Punnett square. That means in this one we got YY, in this one we got YB, in this one we got YB, and in this one we got BB. Okay, now give the possible genotypes and phenotypes for the offspring. So the possible genotypes that we have here are, it's either Y, YB, or BB. Those are the only possibilities within the results of that Punnett square. What are the possible phenotypes? Well, YY would give us yellow, BB would give us blue, and YB would give us goobers. So all of them are options. Now what percentage would be yellow? In this case we've got, how many of these are YY? 1. So 1 out of 4, that's 25%. What percent would be blue? In this case we've got 1 out of 4, 25%. What percent would be goobers? Goobers would be 1, 2. That's 2 out of 4, therefore 50%. Okay. Now what would happen if in the next one we crossed a yellow with a goober? It's the same thing here, guys. Same thing every time. We've got a yellow fish, yellow jellyfish, YY, and a goober. That one's YB. So we get YY, YY, YB, YB. Possible genotypes. What are the possibilities over here? We've either got YY or we've got YB. What are the possible phenotypes? So it's either going to be yellow or goober. Was there any BBs in there? So there's no BBs, so therefore there's no blue. So what percentage of the offspring would be yellow? We've got 2 out of 4, 50%. What percentage would be blue? We have 0, none, no BBs. So it's got to be 0%. And what percentage would be goobers? That is going to be 50% because there's 2 out of 4. Okay, guys, you notice how it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing with the Punnett squares that we've been doing over and over and over. It's all about just kind of thinking through things, taking your time, and making sure you do it the right way. If you didn't understand what's happening here, you need to go back and you need to watch yesterday's video where I go over things like incomplete and codominance. It's a pretty quick one. It's not super difficult to understand, but if you have no idea what I just did right there, please go back and rewatch that one. Please go back and take a look and make sure that you understand it so that you can come back and do this thing the right way. All right? Keep working hard, and I'll have some more videos coming up over the next couple of days that kind of explain where we're going next. All right? Nice job, guys. I'll talk soon.